Assalamu alaikum students. The lecture for today is SA node and the origin of the heartbeat. So the parts of the heart normally they beat in orderly sequence. That is, contraction of the atria is followed by contraction of the ventricles, and during diastole all four chambers are relaxed. So the heartbeat originates in a specialized cardiac conduction system and spreads via this system to all parts of the myocardium. In the slide, the sequence is given. The structures that make up this conduction systems are SA node, then the internodal atrial pathways, then the atrioventricular node, AV node, the bundle of His and its branches, and then the Purkinje system. So the various part of the conduction system and under normal condition parts of the myocardium are capable of spontaneous discharge. SA node normally discharges most rapidly, with depolarization spreading from it to other regions before the discharge spontaneously. The SA node is therefore called the cardiac pacemaker, with its rate of discharge determining the rate at which the heart beats. Impulses, once generated in SA node, pass through the atrial pathways and the AV node through the node to the bundle of His and through the branches of the bundle of His via the Purkinje system to the ventricular muscle. Now, each cell type in the heart contains a unique electrical discharge pattern. The sum of these electrical discharges can be recorded as called ECG. Now, in this diagram over here, you can see the action potentials from different areas of the heart. This is the SA node, the atrial muscle, and the AV node. As the impulse travels through the heart, different areas are excited, the depolarization occur, and these depolarization waves can be drawn. Then this is the common bundle, the bundle branches, the Purkinje fibers, and then finally the ventricular muscle. And if we sum up all of these action potentials, so we can record them as ECG over here. You can see this is the pattern of ECG, the P wave, which is coinciding with atrial contraction or depolarization, sorry, and then QRS complex with ventricular depolarization, and then the T wave with the ventricular repolarization. So these are two graphs or diagrams showing the comparison of action potential in number A, the ventricular muscle, and B, the SA node. Now you can see the differences over here. The difference right starting from the threshold potential and the resting membrane potential is quite different, both in atrial muscle and the SA node, ventricular muscle and SA node. So it has the action potential. We can divide this into 4 phases. For a ventricular muscle, phase 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now 0 is the phase which is called as a rapid depolarization phase. Then comes the 1, which is rapid repolarization. 2 we would call as a plateau phase. 3 is slow repolarization, and 4 is the resting membrane potential achieved again. So what causes the rapid depolarization? Like elsewhere, we have increased sodium current, increased opening of sodium channels, which would cause the phase 0. Then phase 1, that is rapid repolarization, would be caused because of decreased sodium current or closing of the sodium channels. This plateau phase is achieved by opening of the slow type of calcium channels, which would cause the plateau phase. And then phase 3, the repolarization is caused by, of course, the potassium efflux through multiple types of potassium channels. And at phase 4, it is completely repolarized. Now coming to the SA node, the pacemaker potential, rhythmically discharging cells, for example, SA node and some AV node as well, have membrane potential that after each impulse, you can see after, let me take the pointer. So the pacemaker potential is that at each impulse declines to the firing level. For example, this is a impulse which was elicited. As it declines again, it declines, then it declines again to a firing level. There is very less potential difference for it. So this is called as the pre-potential or the pacemaker potential that triggers usually the next impulse. So let's come and see what causes this pacemaker potential. At the peak of each impulse, the your potassium current begins and brings about repolarization. So whenever there is an impulse, there would be increased opening of the potassium channels, and it would decline. So that and as this declines, there will be channel permeability to both sodium and potassium at the same time is activated. Because this is activated following hyperpolarization over here, it is referred to as the H channel. You can see IH over here. This is called as the H channel, H for hyperpolarization, because at hyperpolarization these channels are activated. Or sometimes in some books it's also written it is called as funny, as this activation is very funny because at hyperpolarization it excites or activates both sodium and potassium. So F, sometimes you can see IF, F, it is same as H, or it is also called as funny current. As this IH is increases, the membrane begins to depolarize, forming the first part of the prepotential, the pacemaker potential. The pacemaker potential usually have two or three parts. So the first part is contributed by the IH because it opens sodium and potassium channels, and it causes the first part of the current which is produced. Then there are two. Then we have the membrane begins to depolarize, forming the first part of the prepotential. Then comes the calcium channels. So the calcium, we have two types of channels: calcium T, that is transient, and calcium L, that is long-lasting channels. So the calcium channels then open, and there are two types as shown over here. Due to opening of the T channels, that is the transient channels, this pacemaker the potential, this is the second phase of pacemaker potential, and this occurs because of the opening of the transient calcium channels. It completes that phase. And then due to the opening of long-lasting calcium channel, which usually produces the impulse, because of opening of long-lasting, there is production of the impulse. Other INL channels are also involved. Maybe the calcium channels, the release channels, which we read previously from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, can occur and can contribute to this prepotential. So the action potential in the pacemaker, that is the SA node or sometimes the AV nodes, are largely due to calcium with no contribution from the sodium influx. Consequently, there is no sharp rapid depolarization spike. As you can see over here, there was a rapid spike before the plateau, and as there is other part of conducting system. In addition, the prepotentials are normally prominent only in SA and AV node. However, latent pacemaker may be present in some other part of the conducting system that can take over sometimes the SA and AV node, or may be depressed if they are depressed, for example, SA and AV node, so other parts can take up their function. Atrial and ventricular muscle fibers do not have prepotentials, and they discharge spontaneously only when they are injured or something is abnormal. So this explains why SA node is a pacemaker of the heart. Now, in this diagram, you can see the effect of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic stimulation on membrane potentials of the SA node. Whenever the parasympathetic fibers are stimulated, the membranes become more hyperpolarized, and the slope of the prepotential is decreased. You can see here the prepotential slope is decreased when there is stimulation, vagal stimulation, because the acetylcholine release at the nerve ending increases the potassium conductance of the nodal tissue. And this section is usually mediated in this system, in the vagal parasympathetic system, by M2 type of muscarinic receptors. Conversely, here in the sympathetic stimulation, they speed up the depolarization of the IH type of current, and that would be opening of certain type of both sodium and potassium channels, and the rate of spontaneous discharge usually increases as was before. So norepinephrine usually secreted as sympathetic endings, and it binds to the beta 1 receptors, and the mechanism by it increases the intracellular camp, facilitate an opening of L channels, the long-lasting type of calcium channels, and the rapidity of depolarization phase of the impulse. Here in this slide, you can see the depolarization. This is a anatomical representation of conducting system of the heart. Depolarization one starts in this the SA node. The depolarization once when starts in the SA node spreads radially through the atria, through both of the atria, and then converge on the AV node here. Atrial depolarization is usually complete in about 0.1 second because the conduction in the AV node is now very slow. A delay of about 0.1 second here is the AV nodal delay, which occurs before excitation spreads through the ventricle. Now, it is important to note here that there is lack of contribution of the fast sodium channels in depolarization, that is phase 0 of the action potential here in the AV node, and there is marked loss of conduction is observed, and this delay is known as AV nodal delay. Now, this delay is usually shortened by stimulation of sympathetic nervous system, and it is lengthened by stimulation of the vagal. Now, from the AV node through the bundle of His, then through the ventricular system, through the bundle branches, the impulse is transferred. Now here you can see the beginning of the excitation, the spread of the depolarization over the SA node, and the depiction on an of wave that we can record on a paper, which is called as ECG electrocardiogram. So just the depolarization had started, and in this case the depolarization has spread to all of the atria, and atria are completely excited, so there is formation of a P wave. This is called as P wave. There is upward deflection. Now coming to the ventricles, here the ventricular excitation has begun, and in this there is complete, all the ventricle is completely excited. So at this stage you can see there is formation of the QRS complex, which represents the ventricular contraction phase. And here all of the ventricle has depolarized, the atria, everything, so you can see the formation of a T wave, which represents a ventricular repolarization. We'll leave some of the slides over here because they are pertaining to proper ECG. That would be our third lecture. Describing these slides here. However, the normal duration, you must know, PR interval in an average person would be 0.18 and range is 0.12 to 0.20. The QRS complex is about 0.10, QT interval 0.43, and ST interval about 0.32. From the ventricular muscle fiber, and then not only the threshold is usually maintained by the leaky channels, the sodium leaky channels, which without any energy and anything, the sodium just trickle into this node and maintains this potential at the resting potential that is far lower than the ventricular muscle. And then the slow type of calcium channels, and that is the transient type, and then the long lasting type, which are important for the stage of depolarization and contraction of the atria. At the end of the depolarization, the potassium channel opens more, and then there is a repolarization. As soon as it is repolarized, we had the potential is still maintained around about minus 55 or 60. So due to the sodium leaky channels, it just gains that potential very easily again to fire again. So this is the difference between the sinus nodal fiber and a ventricular muscle fiber. So internodal pathways, they transmit cardiac impulse throughout the atria. We have anterior, middle, and posterior internodal pathways. And anterior interatrial band, it carries impulses to the left atrium, as the SA node is located in the right atrium. So impulse once generated is diffuses across through the intralateral band into the. Now, AV node special characteristics delays cardiac impulse. Most delay is in the AV node. Delay in AV node is about 0.09 second, and then delay in the AV bundle is about 0.04. The Purkinje system fibers, they lead from the AV node through the AV bundle into the ventricles. They are the fastest of the conduction happens here, as because of a lot of concentration of gap junctions and the intercalated discs that would be seen in highest number in the Purkinje fibers. So AV bundles, normally only one-way conduction can occur through these bundles. Except for certain diseases and anomalies, always the conduction is one way, not vice versa. Only conducting path is between the atria ventricle is AV node and AV bundle. So it divides into right and left, and the transmission time between the AV bundles and the last of ventricular fibers, that is time for QRS, is about approximately 0.06. This is an important slide, and it's important for you to memorize all the time interval shown over here. For example, the impulse arrives at SA node 0.0 seconds. So AV node 0.03, there is a delay of this time duration between SA and AV node, and then from the AV node to the AV bundle, that is about 0.12 second, and then the left branch and the right bundle branch, the ventricular septum, finally at 0.16. So you must memorize all these time durations, as it is important for your MCQs as well. So why SA node is a cardiac pacemaker? Now you must know the answer. Normal rate of discharge in SA node is around about 70 to 80 beats, that is per minute, and for AV node it is about 40 to 60 beats per minute. For Purkinje it is about 15 to 40 beats per minute. Since it has the highest rate of discharge, so of course it then becomes the pacemaker of the heart. So ectopic pacemaker would be the pacemaker which is not SA node. For example, if SA node there is some abnormality or something, and this job is being taken up by the AV node or some other area from the cardiac, from the ventricular muscle, for example, the Purkinje fibers. So then that would be known as ectopic pacemaker. So at that time, then that portion of the heart will have more rapid discharge than the SA node. Also occurs when the transmission from SA node to AV node is blocked because of the as low as about 15 beats per minute. And in such individuals, there may also be periods of asystole, lasting for at least a minute or so, in which there will be no cardiac output. The resultant cerebral ischemia, which is usually caused by dizziness and fainting, it is called as a Stokes-Adams syndrome, usually occurs in heart blocks. Now this we have done in detail. We have done the receptors through which the parasympathetic effects would affect the heart rate, and the sympathetic system would affect the heart rate. It causes hyperpolarization because of increased potassium permeability in response to acetylcholine, and so decreased transmission of impulses usually occurs. If severely excited, may cause stopping of the heart even. Then sympathetic effects on the heart rate because of the norepinephrine. It causes increased nodal discharge, increase in the rate of conduction of impulses, increased force of contraction. Now we did the ionotropic, the chronotropic, and the dromotropic effect. So it would increase all of these three. Now the objectives of this chapter, basically you must learn the pathways of the cardiac impulse, understand the mechanism of self-excitation in the SA node, learn the function of intranodal pathway, the AV node, AV bundle, and their special characteristics and the time duration of the arrival of the impulse and the progression. So why only SA node is called as a cardiac pacemaker, and what would happen if the pacemaker is shifted from SA node to any other part of the cardiac tissue? And understand how autonomic stimulation changes heart rate. How does parasympathetic and sympathetic, through which receptor, through which mechanism, they would either increase or decrease